Now the truth is, these are supposed to come out all in one piece, and of course they don't.
I think I just take a picture of my summer house here before we get rained on. I think rain is coming our way.
Now as I'm doing my battery tenders this morning, and I hope we're coming up on the end of this season. Actually, Karen told me today one of the things she'd like to do is change out. We have wreaths for every season. I bet we have 20 wreaths. And she said, it's not going to snow anymore. Let's get rid of the wreaths off the door. Well, you know what happens? And I know this happens. You know what happens when you say it's never going to rain again? It's never going to snow again? Whatever. Well, I'll go with Karen because she always has a lot better feel for reality than I do. So we're going to change out wreaths today. What? I don't know how to express my excitement. But I think at least a week from now, hopefully, we will be done with the battery tenders. And sometimes you just have to mentally accept the fact you want summer to come, you want it, and then all of a sudden it snows. I hope that doesn't happen. Well, we'll see if Karen's right. But no matter what the weather's going to be, we have our small collection, humble collection I call it, of motorcycles. We've tried to keep them, maintain them, keep the batteries charged, keep them in fresh tires and oil. And when that summer does come, I think we'll be ready, even if we have to ride alone. And I do have test riding to do, but today it's supposed to rain a little bit and then be nice in the afternoon, so I don't even want to make a plan yet. But there's a lot of anticipation in the air of having some warm weather, and trees are flowering here in Rutherford, and it is actually getting a little bit warmer in the morning, but you still have that thing hanging over your head. It may snow. And maybe if we do get a break in the weather soon, I have really looked forward to our Evil Twin RD project being done. I got to do the back wheel still. I want to do the fins on the engine yet. Still a couple other little detail things I want to do, and then she'll be ready for the summer. Another sign of spring, I hear the birds chirping, and of course the fish are hungry. The fish have been out of hibernation for about a week already. Wow. All right, guys, spring is in the air. Here's a real sign of spring, our cherry blossom, our next door neighbor. He's got his white tree flowering already. And within a week, next couple days, this will be in full bloom. So this is what Karen wants me to do today. Get rid of all the signs of winter. 93 Elliott Place. Look at this. She's got so many of these wreaths. They really are nice, but winter is over. Even our back door has a wreath. We're going to change these out today. Oh man. If it snows, Karen, you're in big trouble. Listen to those birds chirping. And our wisteria will be blooming, I'm guessing, a week, 2 weeks. Listen to those birds. When you're going to do hard work like changing wreaths out, you've got to have a good cup of coffee in the morning. Looks like my birds are not social distancing as they should be today. Feed me, Grandpa Windy, feed me. Look who's having a snack. Open it up. Let me see what... Ah! Oh my God. So it's officially spring, no chance of snow. We could ride every day. This is one of the ones Karen made. She took a wreath class, I think. Okay, the only thing left is we don't have a warm day. It's still a 40-degree day and it's cloudy. So I'm not sure we're even going to get a ride today, but well, we'll see how the day plays out. Every day is an adventure. And everybody knows I let Marky Marquez borrow my number, 93. It's really Windy's number. Well, the birds think it's spring. They're chirping and nesting and mating and everything. And we even did the wreaths. Now all we need is the weather. And I'm not so sure. It's a cloudy, overcast day here. I'm not so sure. But we always have something to do in that garage, that's for sure. So while I'm waiting to see how the weather's going to play out today, and it may get sunny and nice this afternoon. Right now it looks like it's going to rain. I wanted to try to use those new Dremel tool bits and see if we could make the fins on this just a little bit nicer. So there's the two things I need. I got my Harbor Freight Dremel tool replica. I got the little fuzzy guy on the end. I've got a whole thing of bits, and I want to do a little sanding with the sanding sticks, and I brought out some sanding blocks and some different grades of sandpaper. I just want to see if this is going to be as good as I think it will be, and if this little tool is going to be useful in doing it. Now, once I have a new tool, I just go crazy trying to find things to use it on, because the tool is under $20, and the bits, these are for all purposes free. And I guess I could even try these little wire things. They're 3M pad things. So time for a little experimental time, and this is probably one of the things on an unpredictable day. Maybe we could learn something. And of course, if we do, we can share it. So the first thing is to take these rubber blocks out, just because it's a very simple thing. I don't want to have that I get these all full of compound and everything. So getting those out will be step one. Now the truth is, these are supposed to come out all in one piece, and of course they don't when they're this old, but we can put them all back, and it's a little bit of an annoying thing to do this, but without these little rubber blocks, the engine makes a lot more rattling noise, and of course the two strokes always make I call it a rattling noise. That's probably not the right word, but I always like to have these back in. It's just a question of you sitting there and the mic's idling and it's, and I know I had some between the fins at one time, and it definitely mutes the sound just a little bit. But okay, with these out, now the truth is that I've already tried to polish these with the big buffer. The big buffer, I just made a mess. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get in here with that little wire brush first. The first thing I want to do, job one, I want to try to sand it with a sanding stick with this is probably 400 grit paper. Because what I want to do is I want to dress off the top edge and make it nice and smooth. So that, see, this right now it's not nice and smooth. I never block sanded it. So, and this will be a nice little, I'm sure you'll see it when this is done. This is the kind of thing you don't think anybody will see, but since we want to maintain these bikes, the problem is you just can't run out and buy a new one. That's the problem. So in a roundabout way, it pays to spend whatever time and energy you have to keep these nice, or even better than new. So again, I don't know if this is going to be the easiest way to do it. What I'm trying to establish is I don't want a point at the top. I want a smooth radius so that the light is going to reflect right off of the radius. What I have now is a point, and the point that it's showing me, the problem is that point is not straight. So step one, and I guess if you had any air-cooled bike and you want to, I guess, make a little upgrade to it, and let's face it, this, with the way we're all sequestered in and everything, I don't really regret this time. Now, if we weren't sequestered in today, I might be going to visit Luciano or go up to Joe Roselli's house or something, go visit somebody. But we're sequestered in, and I'm trying to stay busy. And so far, I wouldn't want to do this with 180 grit or something rough. I'm going to do it with a fine grit. This is probably 400. It's what the nail files that women use to do their nails. So, but it's got to be flat, and I've also got to have that radius. So this is going to take just a little bit of time. And it's a time-consuming thing. And if you don't have an air-cooled bike, of course, well, what's the point? But I have seen some engines that I know somebody spent 1,000 hours detailing out, and they look beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And this will be one little thing, you know, instead of what our normal routine is. If I can spend a couple hours here today, I still have to do the back wheel, and I have a whole bunch of other little upgrades I want to make to this Evil Twin project before the riding season comes. You never know. The riding season could come this afternoon. You never know. So anyway, let's see if we've got a little radius on that. And if we do, yeah, we do. Now I can feel it. This is sharp. This isn't sharp. This is flat. This is like a casting. So And when I tested these little 3M pad things, I didn't see a lot of difference of the way they were cut in aluminum. We'll see. I'll check, see if any of them make any difference for better or worse. And by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen the videos before, this about 4 days ago, we bought all these things on Amazon. The whole thing cost about $40, if I remember right, $30 or $40. I got 800 of these little sanding drums, mandrels, and the purpose of the last couple of videos is I'm trying to find things. This one is especially useful. But these will be good, I think, for radius. I'm trying to get a nice radius on the top of that fin. Now the first thing I noticed, I have to go get another pair. I forgot to get my safety glasses from the cellar, but I noticed right away these things, the problem is, well, not a real problem, they really do spit out some little grit, but they really do a good job of cleaning up that radius. So the first step is I'm going to go get some safety glasses. One of the advantages, it's easier to get this little tool around the edge to clean up that edge just a little bit. Now it takes me a little time anyway, and I would say for sure when you use these little wire wheels, definitely use use some safety glasses. And this is just going to take some time. I'm going to do, well, I ought to polish one fin just to see how how it's gonna play out. It looks like it's a small detail, but it really isn't. Now what happens, you get a lot of dust from these wheels as they start to wear out. You get a little dust. Not a problem. So it's really good if it were nicer outside, and I hope the sun's going to come out. I could do this outside, but right now it's really cloudy. So I'm going to try one of the fuzzy pads with some Meguiar's. With the Meguiar's, well, the Mother's probably even cuts harder than the Meguiar's, just to see if I can get that shine to come up. Now I got to do a little experimenting with the speeds. I started with 3. See how this is going to play out. Well, it does buff it right up though. And again, we get this powder or whatever comes out of these things. Not a big deal. What I'll do when this is over, if it's not raining, go outside and just take some compressed air and blow that all out. Yeah, it looks like it's coming right up very quickly. But it is the kind of thing, it takes a little experiment and see where this is going to be good if I want to get in here. I want to get down into the black hole in space. There's no way I can do that with any kind of a big tool. In fact, I'm just running this over the fins with no other preparation just to see how it works. It looks like it's going to work pretty good. And boy, some of the old bikes, the Nortons and the BSAs, when all the aluminum was polished, I always look at Tim's Norton, and I know what a labor of love that is to keep that nice and clean. Well, all these old air-cooled bikes, they have one thing in common: polished aluminum. Now, I've taken care of doing each one of these fins, and I'm trying to go over it now. And then the final little bit I'll have to do by hand. There are definitely a few little places I can't get. I'll have to use the paint stick. But it's doing a really nice job. When this is done, it's really going to look nice. And it's one of those little things you don't think is going to make a big deal, a big difference in a motorcycle. I always think of Tim's Norton as a bike that has just the right amount of polished aluminum parts. One of the final things I want to do here, I have some of my favorite white diamond, which I always call blue diamond and black diamond and diamonds are forever or whatever. Anyway, I want to protect this. I'll flitz it at the very end, but this will put the final little shine on everything, I'm sure. And then I've got to get my paint stick and get some of the compound that winds up in between the fins, but when this is done, it really looks nice. And this little tool has allowed me to get in spots that I'd never be able to get in by hand or by using some bigger, more heavy-duty tool, and it still worked perfect. Now, what you're supposed to do with white diamond, I'm going to do this just to show it, is, and this is a mistake I made many times. You put on any area, put on a coat of white diamond, and you've got to let it sit for a minute, because there's chemicals in here that pull up the oxidation. Now, in a freshly polished part, I want this to really, really be nice when I take it out in, if the sun ever comes out. Well, it's supposed to be nice. I may as well just, while I'm waiting here, clean this up a little bit. The dust is on everything. I'm going to have to, of course, go around this and get rid of the dust, but considering what the alternatives would have been today, let's see, I could have watched Dances with Wolves. I could have, I don't know. And I know Karen has a bunch of stuff for me to do later today, so anything I can do out here, if I get an hour or two out here, it really makes me think, wow, it's almost like I went for a ride. Okay, so we've waited a minute. I want to clean this up now. I do like the way the white diamond, it probably has some chemical in it that pulls up any oxidation, but, and it does get protection, but I will at the end of this, of course, flitz everything down. I just think for me, and because it's part of it is these bikes sit in a garage that's very damp and humid, and I think the flitz always seems to work to my advantage somewhere down the road. Anyway, but those fins now the only part that's left, I hope I got my paint stick out here to show one final little trick that might be worthwhile, because there's always some compound or something in between the fins, and this will just make it just a little bit nicer and neater. And if you have a bike that's leaking oil, or it's not sealing up in some of the head gasket or somewhere, one of the things you can do is just put a little diesel fuel on a stick like this, and it'll clean that up a little bit till you get time to go. It won't bake the oil on anyway. Anyway, this is a small little detail. I always think the difference between a bike that stands out in a crowd and doesn't, and of course some people have no use at all for custom bikes. They just want to have new bikes. That's perfectly okay. There's no reason to get get upset about it in any way. But I know what I like, and in my personal case, there's certain things that I like, and I'm sure there's other people that like exactly the opposite. And the good news is, it doesn't matter. We can still be friends. Now, at the very end of any polishing operation, I always like to just put on, and you really don't need this much. I probably have too much on it. I like to put on a coat of flitz. The flitz is there for protection. Even little areas like this, I hope these will stay nice and smooth and shiny for some amount of time. And we put a couple hours into this little project here. And I'm not sure how the weather's going to play out since I've been in this garage with the doors shut. It may clear up this afternoon, you never know. Get some photos taken, or, oh, God forbid, maybe even get a ride if it got warm. But anyway, I've really come to appreciate, let me get a clean rag now. I really have come to appreciate having polished parts on the motorcycles. It's just me. I know it makes me enjoy the ride more. I don't know how that happens. I'm not sure, but having a bike that's really nice and clean, and I don't know, you stand back and take a look at it. Hey, I have to share a really funny story as I'm cleaning this up. I didn't think about this until right now. Luciano and I had gone on a track day to Millville. Absolutely a true story, and I know this is really gonna make a lot of people laugh. And we were down at the end of the pit row, pitting, and a guy pulled up next to us. He was going to pit right next to us, and he had a beautiful, beautiful truck with a Triumph motorcycle, a Triumph triple in it. And he got out of the van, and he looked like a GQ model, and I was thinking, oh man, the guy has a beautiful bike. He's young and handsome and good looking and everything. And Luciano and I are looking at each other, go, yeah, but we're tough guys. We'll teach him a lesson when we get out on the track. And I look, and he goes into the van, and holy mackerel, he's got the matching leathers with the matching zoot suit boots with stars on them and everything, and his name on the back. I was really impressed on Luciano when yeah, this guy, he can't be that good. He's too pretty, and he's too young, and we'll give him a riding lesson when we go out there. We were doing our grumpy old men thing. And we get out on the track, and now, before we even got out on the track, he's checking the air and the tires, and I'm looking at the bike, and it's all polished up. It's beautiful. It's like I polished it. And get out on the track, and I'm looking for him, and I'm looking, we're going to give him a riding lesson. We teach him to come to track day with a big, brightish, beautiful bike. He went by us like we were standing still, like we were in reverse. It was embarrassing. We pulled into the pits, and we got to talk to the guy. He's a very, very nice guy, and he really was a good rider. He was a lot better than us anyway. But anyway, that's a true story. And I remember that bike. I may even have some pictures of it from our Millville track days. But take a look at that engine, and you tell me if that bike, that floats my boat. Now, I've got to put those little rubber blocks back in, but I think, and it's just me, I know it's just me, that floats my boat. I really think that when I go for a ride and I go park it out in the sun somewhere, to me, I like that. Now, that was only a couple hours. I'm going to do the other side in another work session. Because when I do jobs like this, I never want to rush. I always want to take my time. I want to do them as good as I can. And it's not important if I get them finished. Because we got probably a month or two of sequestration left where we can't even go hug and kiss each other. I'm putting all those rubber blocks back in, and it's always a good idea to give them a little extra tap. And not that they really quiet the engine down, but you know, I guess within the amount they're able to. I think this was a day that I did not expect to get this done. I didn't know how the day was going to play out, but I'm one step ahead, or one step further along on getting this evil twin project, and then I can't wait to get it out on the road. In fact, I hope the weather's going to clear up this afternoon. I'm excited about it. Well, all that's left now is to see how this is going to look out in the sunlight, and actually looks like the sun came out a little bit. I'm never optimistic when they say chance of rain 50%, because half of the time you get rained on. So I try not to build up my hope, but it did get sunny today. So it got sunny out, warmed up a little bit. I think we're going to go try get a nice little ride in. In fact, this sun is coming out brighter than ever. Time to go. It's hard to believe. That really does add a nice little touch to the motorcycle. I really think that's worth it. Anyway, I gotta go get suited up. It's time to ride. I didn't expect it, but the sun came out, and we never want to miss a riding day, that's for sure. Well, the only bad thing here, it got cloudy and cool. Part of this ride was really cold.
think I just take a picture of my summer house here before we get rained on. The rain is coming our way. Look how cloudy the sky's getting. It looks like we're going to get some rain. I don't know. It started out sunny by the house, but not looking real promising now. What up, you like your new wreaths on the door? Your husband has a shiny engine on his bike, and we got a check in the mail from the government for $2 million. So, in my dreams. Wow, what an eclectic day this was. We got a lot done. Polished engines, went for a ride, and Karen's gonna make me the best lunch ever. That endless fiddling, because we've changed the exhaust, that endless fiddling to get it to idle just the way we want. So we really have taken advantage of a really good day. Always remember, you have these old bikes, remember, shut the gas off. We had a wonderful day and a really nice ride and got some engine parts polished. And our RD Evil Twin project is coming along great. And I see the sun is out. My God, I'm going to get sunburned today. I'm going to have to get sunscreen out. Anyway, we never have a ride like this and take for granted what a joy it is to ride a 43-year-old bike. So I hope you're getting sunburned too, and thanks for watching.